Salve a tutti, siamo allo stand Firefox di Mozilla e siamo qui in compagnia di Jonathan che ci mostrerà il nuovo sistema operativo di Firefox, FireFox OS. Okay, Jonathan, you can go.
Alright, so what you're seeing here is a FireFox OS device. This is one of our ZTE devices.
Okay.
And the first thing you'll notice is that as hardware goes, this is much more affordable hardware than you typically see on smartphones, right? One of the advantages of FireFox OS is that because it's built on this web platform that we spent years performance tuning, we can run this on really lightweight hardware, stuff that would be very difficult for iOS or Android.
I understand.
Nevertheless,
because the software is very lightweight.
That's right. That's right. We built it all over the web, and we built it on top of the same technology that powers Firefox on the desktop. Okay. And that technology, you know, we've spent 10 years optimizing it. So it's very performant, it's very memory efficient, and so we can run a smartphone experience on something that feels, you know, it feels like a smartphone, but it's actually, but it's actually much more affordable hardware than you would normally see. Having said that, it's got all the things you'd expect to see. So, you know, obviously you can dial the phone, you can send text messages, it's got a camera, it's got the Firefox web browser, because of course it would. It's got a marketplace, because we recognize that one of the real powers of the smartphones that have come before, the sort of iOS and Android phones, is that a curated marketplace, an app store where users can go to discover apps, is really important. But the difference with our marketplace is that unlike iOS and Android, we don't have to get in the middle, right? So one of the things that happens a lot if you're an app developer, you want to build an app, you put it into the Apple Store. If they don't approve it, you're just out of luck, right? And if you want to charge for it, the only payment model you've got is the payment model Apple chooses to make available. As we see it, our job is to catalyze, to make more innovation possible, but we don't have to control it all. So we do offer the same payment models, but we don't have the same need to control it. If you, as an app developer, want to talk directly to your users, that's fine with us. If you, as a carrier, want to white label this or customize the apps that are available for your customers because you know them best, we want to support that. Our job is to sort of enable an amazing experience.
And how do you charge to developers? You take a fee on the application, or
if they use our payment services built in, then we can take a fee. But if they want to do something else, if they want to build their own payment systems, that's something they're allowed to do, and it's something that you don't typically see from other smartphone OSs.
Listen, what about the other marketplace? On Mozilla OS, you can use just...
You can do the just-in-time search, yes, the dynamic marketplace. So I'll show you. If I just swipe here, now the data connection here is a little bit shady, but let's say I've got something, you know, last weekend was Oscars weekend, so I can just do a quick search for Oscars, and assuming that I've got data here, what we're going to get is a bunch of applications that are custom tailored for the thing I'm interested in right now. Now, I could only be interested in that for a day or two, so I'm not going to want to download all those apps necessarily, install them on my phone permanently. I might just want to pop them up quickly and see, you know, some videos about the Oscars. Of course, if I do end up liking the app, it's really easy for me to add it to my home screen and keep it. But this is something that's unique to the web. Because the web is so searchable, because these apps have been developing for 15 years, it's really easy for us to find relevant topic-specific stuff, even if it hasn't been added to a marketplace yet. You know, that's something that's impossible to do in another app store, because the only way you can get an app for your iPhone is to make sure that it's in the store. So yeah, this dynamic search capability gives us...
So you can get contents from
anywhere online. Exactly. So, and you can do that for any search. It can be locally relevant as well.
But the application then are not optimized for your operating system specifically.
Yes and no. That's up to the individual app vendor. So we can go find anything off on the web. But if something's built on the web expecting mobile, and most of these applications now are targeting mobile, because that's where we're seeing the massive growth.
So is it possible to develop an application specifically for your operating system?
Absolutely. And you can do that even if it's not in the marketplace. You know, there's a really simple piece of markup there that any web author can easily understand and build, so that their app is available automatically.
And is it open to other marketplaces?
Yep.
You can install other marketplaces.
Yeah, we don't need to be the only marketplace. We don't want really to be the only marketplace. We're going to offer a high quality experience. Every app in our marketplace is going to be reviewed and curated and categorized so that users get the kind of app store experience they're expecting. But if someone wants to make a local marketplace, or if they want to make one that's specific to an interest, that's something we fully support and will help them do it.
But why do you think that producers should prefer your system to Android, for example?
Right. So I think that anybody coming into the market right now has got a hard sell, right? Because if app developers are already building for iOS, they're already building for Android, asking them to build for something else is difficult.
Definitely.
Except that the web is the thing people have been building for a decade already, right? And in fact, if you look under the covers at a lot of iOS and Android apps, internally, they're made of the web, right? This language around hybrid apps that are, HTML5 inside, but then wrapped in a native wrapper. We're just basically taking that wrapper off. So for a lot of these applications, building something for our ecosystem doesn't cost them much. They've probably already done it.
I understand. And which are the other differences with the standard operating systems?
I think the other big difference is if you're an operator, for instance, if you run your own network, we have a lot more ability to work with you, both in the marketplace and on the phone itself, in terms of how you customize it, how you build it to suit your users. And I think, again, when you look at the kind of hardware this can run on, some really exciting new things become possible. Gary Kovacs, our CEO, talks about how in the next 10 years we're going to see another 2 billion people online, and those 2 billion are not going to look like the 2 billion who came before. They're starting to touch the web, they're starting to get online in massive numbers, but they can't afford $700 smartphones. So if we want them to get connected and start innovating and participating in this global internet culture, it needs to be on a device that understands them and that is built for their needs. And that's something that you just can't do with an iPhone.
I understand. Last two questions. Sure. When will it be available?
Every carrier's got their own schedule, and if you walk around, there's 23 operator and OEM partners that have all said they're committed to FireFox OS and they're going to bring it to market, but each of them's going to do it in their own time. The news I've heard is that some could be as soon as this summer, but you have to ask the individual operator.
Okay, and which manufacturers will use the system?
So this is a ZTE phone, but we've also got TCL and Huawei building devices, and I believe LG just announced that they are as well.
LG. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.